Hi everyone, thanks for taking time to look at the videos about my monitors. This time we come to the Atari ST. Now, a lot of people will know my background's Amiga, so forgive me, I'm a complete and utter noob. I came very close to buying one of these before the Amiga, and I saw an Atari ST and thought it was fantastic. But of course I fell in love with the Amiga, so I'm not going to hide that. So I've never really had a chance to play with an Atari up until recently, and of course I've used the monitor project as an excuse to collect hardware. It's working so far, and so here we go. Now, as you can see, what I've done is I've set it up here. Now we obviously, the main thing is the monitor, and what I'm going to do is show you in this video the pros and cons of using the Atari with the monitor. And hopefully you like it. Now, this stand is something that I designed to go with it. So basically, I designed this stand so that the monitor had something to sit on top, over the top of these nice old computers, and it was specifically designed for the Amiga 500, 1200, 600, and the Atari ST range. Of course, it works with others. But it was specifically designed for the Atari and the Amiga, so things like hiding the MIDI cables down the side, they go on here, they go across, they can either go out the back or they're going into my synth, which is a Korg monologue. Now, I don't want you get thinking that I'm some kind of musician. No, I'm not. I'm rubbish. But I do like synthesizers. I've always liked playing with sound. Now, I never get any chance to do this, but good excuse, crack out the Korg. Now, the other thing, of course, is we have great speakers on this monitor. When you've got a big, fat, bassy synth like this, you don't want to use that. So I'm going through my normal speakers that I've got on the floor, which you can't see. If there's interest, I'll share the link to them. They're about £90. They're kind of high-end PC speakers, but as you're going to hear, they're pretty good. So here's the Atari now. At the moment, it's running through VGA. As you can see, it's pin sharp, running at 640 by 200. Now, obviously, the display is 640. It's sensing it, so it's going 640 by 480. And of course, you've got this big black bar at the bottom. Now, that's just life. You can move this up and down. You can stretch it. We may look into doing a bit of firmware tweak, because in fact, let me show you this. So if we go into here and go to zoom, now that's going to be renamed 5.4. If you go to zoom 2, it stretches it up and then you can move it, but you can't move it enough. So again, this is one of those things we're going to tweak. If the Kickstarter success, we've done a load of tweaks to the firmware, and we're going to do a load more. But as you can see, it sits there nicely. You can move it up and down it, but it looks absolutely. Hopefully, it's coming across, and you can see it's absolutely fantastic. I will show you a composite, and I'm going to show you the SCART as well afterwards, very briefly. But the main thing is just to show you it working in the VGA mode, which I think, if you're a musician or you've got this for that reason, a lot of people are going to be doing it, and this looks. I think it looks amazing. Hopefully, it's you can see. I don't want it to, because I've got studio lights here and they can reflect off the screen. Right, so let's just load something up, just briefly. This is not a demonstration of the Atari, okay? If that's what you expect, I'm afraid to come to the wrong place. I just want to show you it working and to show you how sharp it looks and how nice. So just fun. Now, again, this is the default one it comes with, I think. I think I might actually learn to use this because it's actually really good fun playing with the synth. So if you can tell by that bass, these speakers on here are actually very good, but you know, they just can't compete with us. But yeah, so what have I got it on? Yeah, I do like that. There you go. So that's my demonstration of look. The main thing is, let me just stop that because it is actually quite loud. There you go. I mean, I'm trying to show the monitor off here, and yeah, you might think, well, why aren't you showing speakers off? Well, of course, if you're playing games or stuff like that, it's great. But if you're a musician, you're not going to use the speakers in this. You're going to go out to an amp, and you're going to do it properly. Some of the bass on this Korg is just crazy. It rattles the wall. It's just fantastic. So yeah, there you go. That's what it looks like on the panel in VGA mode. Okay, so what we come to now is the composite. So I want you to see what composite looks like. What you're seeing here on the camera obviously looks pretty good. What I'm seeing here is pretty good for composite. I'm going to quickly show you a couple of pictures, bear with me. Now what you're looking at the moment is two photos I've taken of the front of the screen, so you can see what it actually looks like when you're looking up close. Now again, it's reliant on the phone taking the picture, but so you can see there's some artifacting because it's composite. The pictures you'll be looking at was in low and medium res, so I'm going to load up some pictures. Right, so I had to edit that because, as I said before, I'm a noob, and so I was looking for the programs. But as you can see, the colour reproduction is nice. In fact, this looks, once you've got some actual colour on the screen, you can actually, it looks actually really nice. So I'm quite pleased with that. And that's coming in composite, and again, you have all the composite tools, you know, the brightness and so on. But this is set as default. So composite is quite good. So of course with games, with it all moving, it would look really nice in composite. I'm not an Atari person, so you know, obviously it's very tricky. That's why I like taking it to the shows and people see them. Now let's get on to the next one, which is SCART. Okay, so now we come to the SCART. Remember what I said? There's the good and the bad. So to set some context for this, the pictures you're seeing here are pictures I took running at my local Greenford group, and I asked everyone to bring in their Atari STs and to plug them in using the same cable before anyone says it that I'm going to use here, and as you can see, they all worked. But what you're about to see is this machine that I bought, which is a 520 ST FM, is doing something a bit weird. Now, I have heard people mention this and say that sometimes they can be twitchy. But let's turn it on and then we'll discuss it further. Let me put it on, and this is what I get. Now, it's the same computer that was working in VGA, in composite. Looks beautiful, so the computer is fine. It's just something with the output is freaking the display out. Now, interestingly, because it's going through GPS control, I've got all these panels that I can play around with and change the settings, but nothing I can do can fix it. It's just not happy. So if you're an Atari video engineer expert and you know what it is, then get in touch, because we did actually have it working, which was frustrating. It must have been just, you know, lucky wind or something. But it's the only one is this one. Now I'm not. So what my point here is to say that if you buy this specifically for SCART, then, you know, as you've seen, there's four Ataris. There might actually be three, actually, to be fair, all working fine. But as is typical, mine that I bought specifically has got this issue. Now, just for context, if you plug this into my two TVs downstairs, it does display, but it breaks down. So what happens is the display comes up and then it'll disappear and then it'll come back. And on another display it'll appear, but then it'll do this funny weird line thing going through it. So there's obviously something going on here, and our board and the GBS control is kind of freaking it out. So if you've got any ideas what that is, then come back to us, because we obviously want to fix it, or at least be able to tell people that have this issue how to fix it. But as I said, at the moment we're on 3-1. And we will probably more likely address this, but this is one of those things. It's a noise issue developing. As I said, they work fine on most of them, and I think they were all 10 1 meg ones. There was a 520 STFM. There was no STEs there, but as I said, so feedback would be great. Anyway, I don't want to bang on about this because it's a bit depressing. But as you see, so it's kind of at the moment, a 1 in 4 doesn't work. Hopefully it's not as bad as that. But if you've got any advice, come back to us, and we'd be more than welcome to talk to anyone that's got an answer, because it could just be a clock signal we need to allow for, something like that. But yeah, okay, so that's it basically. Thanks a lot. That's the bad news.